Hello and welcome to TekBoost TV. I'm Jaime and today we're taking a look at the mid-level single processor HP Z420 Professional Workstation. There are two versions of this workstation and we're going to point out the differences as we move forward.
These are designed to run on Windows 7 Pro and Windows 10 Pro, both 32 and 64-bit versions, as well as SUSE Linux Enterprise Desktop 11 and Red Hat Enterprise Linux Desktop. Before diving into the technical specifications, let's go over the physical characteristics of the HP Z420. To start off, dimensions come in at 18 inches tall, 7 inches wide, and 18 inches deep. Depending on configuration, weight will range between 28 to 40 pounds, and you'll have a few 5.25-inch external drive bays. Looking at the front of the system, you will notice it sports an optional 5.25-inch to 2x2.5-inch drive bay in the top optical slot. You are also able to add an optional 14-in-1 media reader, general optical drives, or a carrying handle. While not the heaviest of systems due to its mini-tower configuration, the handle does make it easier to move the system around when needed. As far as 5.25-inch bays, you will have a total of 3, 2 if you use one of the aforementioned slot upgrades. One of these bays can also be configured to add a fourth 3.5-inch hard drive if needed. Further down the front of the system are the HP emblem and the airflow channels used for ventilation. To the right, we see the power button, which glows with a blue LED when the system is turned on, and the hard drive activity light. Below the power button are front external ports for a single USB 2.0 connector, 2 USB 3.0 connectors, stereo microphone and headphone ports, and a single FireWire port for legacy devices. Each side of the system has a HP emblem front and center, while the left side has an easy open handle to get into the inside of the system. Moving to the back, we have our power supply vent and power plug. Below the power supply, note the rear power button and LED indicator. For external ports, there are legacy PS2 ports, a single FireWire connection, 4 USB 2.0, and 2 USB 3.0 connections, a native gigabit Ethernet connection, audio lines in and out, and a microphone connection. Additional external USB 3.0 connections can be added via an internal add-on card. Now to the inside components. To open the system, simply pull back on the handle, which will reveal the internals. Starting at the top left, you will notice the power supply. You have two options here depending on your power needs, 400 watt and 600 watt, both 90% efficient. The power supply runs very quietly, helping to reduce distractive noises while working. Looking to the top right, you can see the quick release levers for the 3 optical bays. These are easy to use and ensure no sliding of an optical slotted device. Moving to the bottom, there are 3 3.5-inch hard drive bays. 2.5-inch to 3.5-inch converters are available for use with faster solid-state drives. The bays use pull-out trays for easy hard drive installation. Snapping in the cables is a breeze, and you will have full support for both 3 and 6 gigabit per second transfer speeds. Below the hard drive bays are an optional single fan to blow air through the front and well-organized power and SATA cables. To the left are the internal connections. Starting at the bottom, there are a total of 6 SATA ports, 2 operating at 6 gigabits per second, and 4 operating at 3 gigabits per second. These channels are also eSATA configurable. The Z420 has an integrated SATA RAID 0, 1, and 10 controller, and HP also offers an optional LSI MegaRAID 9260 8i RAID controller that supports both SATA and SAS drives. The motherboard has 4 PCI slots, 2 of which can be used to run SLI graphics cards, and a PCI slot for legacy PCI 32-bit devices. The system can support 2 graphics cards running in SLI mode with a total of 2 6-pin power connections. Depending on the size of the graphics card, you may need a mounting bracket for stabilized support. For a complete list of supported video cards, please visit the HP Z420 Quick Spec webpage. This workstation takes one processor. As you can see, here is the heatsink. You remove it by unscrewing these 4 screws. Underneath the heatsink, you'll find the CPU socket. It is keyed for easy mounting of the processor. We mentioned earlier there are 2 versions of this workstation. The main difference between the two is the CPUs they support. The Z420 version 1 can support E5 1600 and E5 2600 V1 processors, while the second version can support E5 1600 and E5 2600 V2 processors. Please note that when using an E5 2687W processor, it will require the optional water-cooled heatsink. Since the processors are quad-channel, there are a total of 8 memory slots capable of supporting 2 GB to 8 GB DIMMs for a total of 64 GB of memory. though we have read unconfirmed reports of this system supporting up to 128 GB of RAM using 8 dual-rank 16 GB RDIMMs. Depending on the processor installed, memory speeds may run from 1066 MHz to 1866 MHz. Supported memory types include both DDR3 unbuffered ECC and ECC registered. An important note to mention is the 400-watt power supply will support up to 32 GB of RAM, and any more than that will require the use of the 600-watt power supply and memory shroud.
All in all, the Z420 is a wonderful medium-level workstation that provides ample configurations to support many of the most demanding applications. This makes it ideal for graphic media content producers, video editing, high-end photography editing, AutoCAD, and more for the professional user. Please check out our how-to videos covering processor, video card, memory, and hard drive installation for the HP Z420. If you found this information helpful, please leave a like and subscribe below. We welcome suggestions on how to make these more helpful, so don't be shy about requesting additional content. Thanks for tuning in.